Hi, this is John Otero, and we're doing a little interview with Mr. Rob Harrell. He has been on the both sides of the industry, but Rob, tell us a little bit about the pains and frustration when you were an adjuster of what you were dealing with.
Sure. Thanks, John. Basically, the biggest challenge that a lot of adjusters have is that it's the ambiguity of information that they're getting. To give you an example of that, let's say that the adjuster goes to a 9 o'clock appointment, a noon appointment, and a 2:30 appointment. And then let's say that on each job, they're somewhat the same. So let's make our variables somewhat accurate. The biggest challenge that an adjuster has is they have to provide documentation to their files which will support the paying of that invoice. If they're going out and they're meeting with different contractors, and then let's say on that 9 o'clock, 12 o'clock, and 2:30 appointment, they're getting a varying degree of information or information that doesn't add up, it's very difficult for them to have the information for their file to be able to put that in to close that file or to make payment on that file. The biggest thing that I see that would promote a quicker turnaround time with an indemnity payment would be accurate, concise, clear, very well documented paperwork. That's what I think would be the biggest thing. When I say paperwork, I mean as far as your moisture, your MC sheets, your moisture content readings, your atmospheric readings, your moisture map, all the different types of documentation which is going to verify your work on the project as a restorer.
That is interesting. So tell us a little bit about your background. How long were you an adjuster? Where were you before?
Sure. I've worked for three of the largest different insurance providers. I started out, I kind of ran the gamut, and not to make this too lengthy, but I started out as a desk adjuster. A desk adjuster is going to handle claims of anywhere from $2,500 to about $5,000. Then I was a field adjuster, which means I handled claims from $5,000 to $25,000 in the field. Then I became what was called a technical specialist, so I handled files anywhere from $25,000 to $125,000. Then I became a large law specialist, so I handled anything from about $125,000 to $200,000. Then I became what was called a property field trainer, where I actually trained adjusters on the different protocols and procedures to use in the field. I did that for about 2 years, and then my last position within the last insurance provider I worked for, I was a claims manager over about 40 different claim reps.
Wow, that is amazing. So is there a big difference between independent restoration companies and the franchises?
I think the biggest thing that I see is with generally speaking, even though many of the independent franchises, they try to establish protocols and procedures to have different types of forms or different types of things on jobs, that can sometimes be lacking, where it's a little bit more mandated or more of a quote-unquote protocol for a franchisee. So anything that they can do to streamline that process or provide that process to the actual let's just say the material interested party, whether that's the homeowner, whether that's the adjuster, that would be something that would be, I would say, very advantageous to them.
What do you see as coming down for the future regarding pricing? We heard that in Canada there's square footage pricing. What's your opinion as from the adjuster side? Do you think that's good, bad, or indifferent?
Well, I would love to see that, only because now it's basically, let's just look at it again. If we go back and we look at that loss of information, or the ambiguity of information, it can be a situation where we have to discuss air movers by linear foot or square foot. We have to discuss dehumidifiers by AHAM pipe removal. We have to discuss all these things. If it could be as simple as walking in, taking a length, width, and height to get our cubic footage or our square footage pricing, then all of that can be built into a factor where now the restorer is getting paid based on his experience and skill set and or the equipment that he owns to be able to put that skill set in motion, as well as he would also benefit by saying, hey, look, whether this dries in 1 day or 7 days, I know I'm not limited to my time frame of drying on this project.
Yeah, interesting. Mr. Harrell, we do appreciate your time, and thank you so much for your experience.
Thank you very much, John. I appreciate it.